If you're experiencing too many thoughts during self-inquiry, during your sit-down practice and throughout the day, it's actually not an obstacle. And that's what I want to show you today, how when you experience that thought flow while practicing self-inquiry, that it doesn't have to be a problem. And number two, how to actually use that to go deeper into self-inquiry rather than feeling like you keep, just going with the flow of thinking and becoming the thinking. And something that I would ask you to do with me on the video right here. Okay, don't wait to do this. Practice as I'm sort of talking you through it. So when you're practicing and you are looking directly into your experience and you're curious about what is aware, right? What is the me that is aware? Notice how in this inquiry, we are not at all concerned with what we are aware of, for example, thoughts, emotions, sensations, but rather using what we are aware of to acknowledge, that there's an awareness of those things, that the things that we are aware of are many, yet there's only one knowing of them, the one to which they all report to. So when you are curious about what is aware, see that it's like an inward turning of attention away from what you are aware of, for example, thoughts and emotions and whatever, towards the very awareness itself. It is simply being that which is aware, knowingly. And maybe when you start to practice, again, thoughts start happening. They start talking about what is aware, or what's missing in the practice, why you're not able to practice, or, oh, I'm not able to focus, or, oh, what's for dinner later. So you see, these thoughts, and from there you become frustrated because you're having more thoughts, which itself is another thought. So you see how there's an identification with the thought flow. Even that which is bothered by the thought flow is itself another thought, is itself another thing that you are aware of. So instead of buying into that frustration, instead of buying into that fight against thoughts, acknowledge that there's an awareness of even the frustration, that there's an awareness that is not being maintained of even these thoughts that are just automatically happening. And notice that right now, that as I'm speaking to you, perhaps there are some thoughts that are just going about. They're just arising, talking about what I'm speaking, or if this will work for you, or how this will develop for you, or if you've heard this before. These are just all the interpretations and judgments which you are not choosing to think, that you are not really the director of. They just arise spontaneously. And this is not just with these current thoughts. This is with thoughts that happen throughout the day and especially even during inquiry. So don't pay them any mind. Instead, acknowledge that they are arising in awareness, that they are automatically and effortlessly known. You do not have to make an effort to be aware of a thought that arises. It's automatically, instantaneously, effortlessly known, seen. So with that, the only thing that keeps you bound in that frustration and in that fight against thoughts is continuously believing in that thinking or caring about that thinking. And as I said earlier, in inquiry, we are not concerned with or interested in what we are aware of, but rather the fact that there is awareness and that which is aware. So when thoughts occur during inquiry, it is a simple adjustment to just quickly acknowledge that there's an awareness and not a mental note. The very noticing of these thoughts is wordless awareness, knowing. Not the thought, oh, there's an awareness here. Even that thought is arising and subsiding in the very awareness, which you are not talking from, which is not offering any judgment. So it's not, oh, the mind saying there's awareness. Even if that thought arises, see how automatically it has arisen And prior to that thought arising, there was already awareness, which itself is not saying anything or judging anything or fighting against anything. It has no relationship with thoughts. It has no conflict with them. It has no clinging to them. It's just like the open space in which the thoughts are arising and subsiding. So you have to continuously acknowledge in your direct experience that there is an effortless awareness in which the thoughts are happening and subsiding. And the moment you acknowledge the thoughts, instead of being so interested and immersed in the content of them or what they're saying, or even buying into the fight against thoughts, which itself is another thought, acknowledge that you're like the seeing of all of this. And instead of being so, interested in what you're seeing, be interested in instead the very seeing itself, which is not a color or a shape or a thought or a sensation, but it's very here, right? It's not an object you can pinpoint inside of the seeing, but the seeing is the space itself in which all of these objects are happening. So no thought can really hold you back from inquiry or be an obstacle in inquiry. The very fact of knowing a thought is a help in inquiry, because the moment you become aware of a thought, you can acknowledge that wordlessly. Even if the thought arises and says, oh, this is a thought and I'm aware of it. See that even that talking is a thought. It is not you. It is not your voice. It is not what you are. You are the seeing in which even that has arisen and is seen to go. Yet you do not go when that thought goes. You are not saying anything. You are the plain, simple awareness of what is arising. So instead of being so interested in the thought, just acknowledge the very awareness. And you'll see that, again, it will take the attention away from what you are aware of, away from the thought, into just awareness of awareness. It's like the attention sinking into its source, the mind sinking into its source, the heart of knowing. This is the definition of retaining the heart retaining the mind in the heart of awareness, not your physical heart. It has nothing to do with it. The heart of knowing, the center of all your experience, that which all experience is known by, that it reports to. You. It's nothing other than you. And it's not something deep within, something over there. It's right here. It's very self-evident. It is the very ground of being, knowing, in which all of this is happening. So see how in this way, no thoughts that arise, whether if it's fear or whatever, can be a hindrance to this, because the thought itself is just an appearance, which is seen and it goes. It's not you. And it's not holding back the seeing. It's not diluting the seeing. The thought is seen clearly, effortlessly, without effort, without any doing or maintaining on your part. So how could it hold back the seeing? That's like saying that if I put an object in this room, it is sort of affecting the space of this room, that it is holding back the space of this room. No, it's not. It is actually the very space of this room which allows the object to be here. Just like that, it is the very awareness which allows the cognition of a thought, without which the thought wouldn't exist. But a thought arising doesn't mean awareness is absent. It is the very awareness, aware of the thought. But see, we're too interested in the very thoughts and the content of those thoughts, what they're saying, it's like the projected world that thought pulls you into. All that needs to be done is just an acknowledging that, first of all, this has just spontaneously, without my control or permission, arisen. It's just happening. And second, and so therefore that I don't need to take ownership of it. I don't need to care about it. I don't need to just go with it and believe in it and buy into it, or even fight it for that matter. Acknowledging that it has just spontaneously arisen, become aware of the knowing in which it has arisen, which is you. You are the knowing in which it has arisen. And then be that knowing. Don't just keep knowing the thought. Know the very knowing itself. That is self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is not an intellectual process of who am I? No. It is being the knowing, knowingly. Just being, knowingly. Not being a something, not knowing a something, but just knowing. Being. And nothing is an obstacle to this. Anything that you say is an obstacle to you just being is you just buying into thinking and what it is projecting. And all it requires of you is this simple adjustment of just acknowledging that there's an awareness of even this. Not saying this, but even acknowledging that the very thing saying this is also seen. And it is not what you essentially are. And so just continue to return to this knowing of knowing. Awareness of awareness. Being. I just wanted to thank you for watching this video. If this video brought you value and you'd like to go deeper into this teaching, please make sure to check out my free resources down below. And if it's something that you'd like my personal help with, if you want me to guide you in how to go deeper into self-inquiry and helping you dissolve mind identification and become free from suffering, please learn more about my School of Awakening program. It is absolutely incredible. If you feel like you've been going through this teaching for years and years, yet your understanding is entirely at an intellectual level, if you still feel stuck, if you're still experiencing obstacles, I can so confidently say that all those things will be dissolved in our time working together. So if that is of interest to you and you do want my help, then please learn more about my School of Awakening. I'm so excited to share that with everybody here. And I can't wait to have you in our program. So learn more about it. You can click the link, then you can book a free call with me and where we can see if this is the right fit for you. Okay, that's all for today. I'll see you next time.